All right, hello everyone. We are back for another tutorial video here for the Masters tournament. This is the major tournament here, US Open course. And I see we are setting up for par 3 here, but it is the one with the curved fairway. So, not sure what to bring. I'm a little, I'd want to discourage you not knowing from bringing Thors just from a curl standpoint. It'll be nice to have, 50, 60 just in case, 70 curl just in case the wind is pointed to the right. Now we did do a shootout here with a Kingmaker, and the rock was long enough. But I'm assuming, a POC 5, you're going to want a little bit longer club for this hole, just to be on the safe side. Now I'm assuming they are going to point it down, or at least, side. So if it is a side wind, you can bring the rock. And if you want to see the way that I did a rock shootout, it is probably my second hole. I got a shootout and pulled it off with rock. One of the biggest reasons you will bring rock is for accuracy purposes. Let's see where we're at. Those guys are definitely practicing. I'm going to have to start forfeiting. I'm going to forfeit out just to be on the safe side. Get back to even. Just kind of sizing up the bracket a little bit. I know that those guys are not going to play. At least 3 that already have pars. So that pretty much takes, 3 or 4 guys immediately out of contention. So with that being said, finishing too high is something I don't want to do, because I don't want to just creep in today. But back to about this hole, we are going to, definitely bring the longwood here. So I'm going to recommend extra mile if you absolutely have to, but this is going to be a very good POC hole, possibly rock 8. We'll just see what the wind is. But the only way, the wind has to be 9 or 3 o'clock or a little bit more favorable. And just as I thought, I almost, I kind of predicted this wind. If you go back to my shootout in hole 2, I kind of had a hunch that it was going to be this wind. Because, I thought for the difficulty factor, for them to be able to, really challenge guys to hit that curl shot and not go too far right. And you will be able to bring a POC 4 here with a downwind, but I'm going to recommend that you play this hole with a rock. Even if you have a rock 7, you'll still be okay with a Kingmaker. You'll be very close to max power setup, just going off of my second hole shootout. But there you see, that's actually very nicely done. A little bit too high up on the slope, but that's more or less what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to, and that's one of the nice advantages that I kind of have, but I'm going to play this a little bit aggressive for you guys, since I'm forfeiting out anyway. But here you can see, I'm more towards max. I'm going to try to kind of set up to potentially make it, and to do that, it's going to be, more of, this is going to be kind of the spin that you're going to want, 1 to 2 backspin, somewhere in there, and landing it very close to this rough edge. Probably, you know, I'm looking at a 10 wind, I'm looking about 7 rings down as my landing zone. And I will do full curl. The great ball's not helping me. That's not even going to be aggressive. So I did not pull that off there. I was, if anything, going for a great ball left and got a great ball right. But you can see, you know, no real threat to messing up if you can have a high curl club. So that's one of the biggest reasons that you see me doing that. And there you see, I'm going to start forfeiting out here. So good luck with that. The best advice I can give you, especially if you actually want the ace or need the ace, is to get very aggressive on that rough edge towards the water. You'd have to bounce, you know, 1 to 3 yards from the edge and kind of hop all that rough and not take so much slope. So, you know, if I landed, for example, 4 yards left of where I did, you know, the lefter you get it, the better. It's really the only real way that you have of making it. You can bring rock to this club, so I would highly recommend you doing rock. Even if it's a rock 7, 221 will just be enough. And if you need to see that shot, I did do it on, I believe, you know, hole 2, a shootout. And I pulled it off relatively successfully. So being able to look over that shot, the wind was almost identical. And it was just kind of, you know, I had a feeling that the wind would kind of be that for this hole, just because of the whole extra challenge factor, but they have to keep it somewhat fair. If they gave us a headwind, you know, half the guys couldn't even get to the damn green. So keep that in mind, and hopefully, you know, you guys can get a good approach to that. I do recommend going at it that way. The left method would also work. I just think it's going to be more of a gamble from the third tee box. So that's the reason that you don't see me going the left method there. I do recommend the safer approach, which is to the right. If you are going to do the left fairway hop, play more rings than you would in Tour 11, for sure. At least an extra ring or 2, because you're at a tee box farther back, 20 yards. You're going to have to set up very close to max club, I'm assuming. And also that first hop is going to be a lot harder than usual. So if you usually go, I don't even know what that shot is too well off the top of my head. I think maybe like 4 backspin, 4 side spin. Well, if that's what it usually is, you might want to do, you know, 5 backspin, 4 side spin, just to account for that extra factor of, you know, how much harder that first hop is going to be. And, you know, that applies to the right method as well. So no matter where you land, the ball's going to hit a little bit harder than in Tour 11, since you're on a longer tee box and the ball's coming in higher. So wherever you usually land, your typical spin isn't going to apply. You're going to have to land a little bit shorter to use the same backspin. Otherwise, you're going to wind up too high up on the slope, or potentially go over the green if you try to replicate your Tour 11. So keep that in mind, and good luck with that hole. I'll see you guys for hole number 6.